Yeah, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I was almost going to say Tazman's to the sky, but Foundry Virtual Tabletop version 12 from the ground up. And in our last episode, we had this big battle going on, and I kind of made me start thinking of a couple little things that I kind of wanted to do this episode just to give you guys some ideas as well, especially if these are adventures. You can actually run them solo, because one of the hardest things with D&D is actually getting a group together and getting them even online, getting them all to have a schedule that works together. So a lot of times you can even do it just alone, just play a quick adventure kind of thing like that. So what I was thinking is, one thing to add some spontaneity to what we're doing is, I was thinking maybe what we could do is create a very, very basic mob behavior AI type of thing. Now, this isn't like a whole lot of coding or anything. It's just simply using a couple roll tables to randomize what is this mob going to do on their turn. How are they going to attack? What type of attack are they going to do? Who are they going to target? That's what I was thinking. Anyway, hopefully you like that idea. But one thing I wanted to show first is what I was planning on doing is making two D20 roll tables, one for actions, one for targeting, and I also wanted to show that there isn't really a higher chance of actually rolling a certain number. There's when it's just a single die with X amount of sides, there's an equal amount of chance to roll any of those sides. And I actually have not a module, but a macro that I wrote a long time ago that I call my auto roller. And what I wanted to do is show you that. So we're just going to drag that from here down to our hotbar just to show you. Now what this will do is it actually will roll a D20 1,000 times and kind of keep track of how many times it rolls each number. I'm going to go ahead and clear out our combat as well. I don't think we need it right now because we're at kind of a good stopping point at that moment. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and what it's going to do, it's going to roll a D20 1,000 times, and it's going to keep track of how many times it rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 20. And what you'll notice is it is actually quite even. When 1,000 rolls is done, basically it's rolled each side almost the same amount of time. So let's go ahead and roll it here, and you'll see here now, you can see we rolled 55 times. Now there will be, here and there we'll get different numbers, but as you can see, between 30 to 60 looks like our big things are here. But if I did this a second time, right now you can see, boy, we rolled 9 the most out of everything else. But if we do it again, you'll see now we rolled 957. We rolled nat 20 60 times. So what this is kind of showing you is that no matter how many times, even if we took it, say, to 10,000 times, which will take a tiny bit longer for it to actually roll that many. So if I add one more 0 right here, hit save. If I close this will take a little bit longer, but you're going to average see, I think it's around 300, 400, 500, 600, somewhere around there is how many times each number will be rolled. So yeah, you can see here between 5 and 400 is what we've got for everything. So really, to try and set up a table that says, oh, well, nat 20, that's really hard to roll. If it's just a 1d20, that is not very hard to roll. Now, if we were to change this a little bit, when we start throwing in multiple dice, where now we're getting some different combinations, like we'll never roll a 1 if we have 2d20. Let's see if I can find out where it was I did all that. Here it is. We can just do this, I think. Yeah, I think that's where we do it. So if we do that, I'm going to change it back to 1,000 so it doesn't take way too long. Even here, it will be fairly even. Oh, it's down here. Delete. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So obviously, because now we have 2d20, your lower numbers are going to be less rolled than your higher numbers. So as you can see, there actually is kind of a, yes, I'm going to be rolling a value of 20 or higher necessarily this many times. So here you can definitely see it. But if you're just doing one, it doesn't matter. Now, the reason I wanted to point that out is because on our table, we're kind of actually going to set these up so that the things that we're setting up, we're actually using more ranges of numbers to be the things than the actual value, if that makes sense. I think it will in a minute. Let me just go change this back so it doesn't look so broken anymore. Right here. Save. There you go, all better. So hopefully you found that a little bit useful. All right, so here's what I wanted to do. Maybe we're going to create, let's create a folder to keep this. And this would be a good thing for you to have. And we're going to call this mob AI. Technically, it's not AI, but BEHAVIO. Is that how you spell it? Behaviors? Sure. I don't know if that's how you spell it. I lived in Chile for 2 years, and in Spanish, when you say pretty much a single letter always has a single sound. And so sounding out things in Spanish is really easy, but it kind of messes up your English. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and create one roll table. This one, let's go ahead and call targeting. I never did profess that I was a really good at English. All right, for this, I think what I wanted is probably about 8 results. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And really we don't need 8. We could actually get away with, say, 6. But I don't know. I want to roll 8. I want to do 8. So our most common thing that we want would be attacking the person that's in front of them, someone that's in the front line. So we're going to go ahead and call that front line. And I'm also going to kind of, at least for the first couple, I'm going to actually have them be the highest numbers and the lowest numbers. So we're also going to put front line here. And then the next would be the closest person on the front line to them. So that would just be the closest, well, actually it's not even on the front line. Technically it's the front line because it's just the closest person to them. And this isn't necessarily the best thing. This was just something I threw together really quick and thought, yeah, that might make it a little more interesting. So now we have closest. And then maybe we'll have, usually your front line, your closest person, usually is going to be a tank, right? So let's give an opportunity to have them attack, say, the DPS person, your warlocks, your rogues, your, people that don't want to be frontline but definitely deal a lot of damage. So we'll say DPS maybe, and then DPS for your damage per second person, and then we have maybe our healer or caster. I'm going to say healer. HEAO, the healer. And then these 2 middle ones, let's just have this be the weakest, whoever it perceives as the weakest. That's it could be ranged or not ranged. So we'll do WEAKEST, weakest. And then maybe we'll just have a be ranged or the rear guard. So I think these are going to be our categories. So instead, because we know that there's an equal chance of rolling anything, so actually having their order really doesn't matter. And even repeating this back here really doesn't matter, other than I'm going to be giving it more numbers. So I'm going to say from 1 to 4 will be your front line. And then I'm going to say 5 to 7 maybe for the closest. So all the way 1 to 7 is usually going to be your standard. Then here we'll say maybe 8 and 9. And then weakest, we don't want that to happen very often, so only on 10s. So we're going to do 10 and 10. And then rear guard we'll only do on 11s, because really that is not a thing that someone that's close to someone else wants to do, is attack someone far away. Cleric or your healer, probably a little bit more, we'll do 12 and 13. And then we're going to kind of follow the same thing we have here, where we have 5, 6, and 7, so that's 3 possible. We're going to do 14 to 16. And then here was 4 possible, so that will be 17, whoops, not 7, 17 to 20. So that will kind of be our thing, and this is going to be a 1d20 roll. With replacement, display roll to chat. I don't care about either of that. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and update. And then the second table that we want to do is going to be for behavior. Am I using my primary strike? Am I using my secondary strike? Am I going to go defensive? Am I going to try and move? Am I going to use, like if I'm a boss, do I use my special ability, or do I freak out for whatever reason and try and leave the current target, which means I disengage and move away, or something like that. So those are actually going to be the ones I'm thinking we'll do for that. So we'll go and create a second one, and we will call this actions. Whoops, without an R. ACTIONS, actions. So here we have this. It'll also be a 1d20. And this one, I think I'll only do 6 on this. I think I'll just do the ones that we mentioned. I won't actually go do any repeating. What's that? 5, 6. So, like I said, our first one will be our main tag. Main attack. A-T-T-A-C-K. So this is, you know, if I'm a archer, obviously my main attack is going to be my range. So just as a reminder, I'm going to do M-E-L-E, melee / ranged. I'm actually going to copy that because the secondary attack will be the same thing. So generally, whatever your main attack, secondary attack is usually the opposite. So we'll actually call that secondary A-C-K, and we'll do melee range there. Our next one, we'll call this maneuvers. So maybe to maneuver in M-A-N E, I think it's an E here. Maneuver. Oh, that's, maybe I should just say moving. This will be using something like a wand or something, or a potion. We'll have a use / defend. So taking the dodge action or something like that. So we'll do that. This will be our special ability. Special. A-B-I-L-I-T-Y. And if the creature doesn't have a special ability, we'll just do a reroll. And if the second reroll actually, if the reroll lands on that, then you get to choose. So I could even just decide to choose, so just to make things go. And then of course we're going to have flee, almost like they were feared. But this is a strategic flee, so from the current target. And boy, did I ever C-U-R-R-E-N-T, current target. All right, so there we have that one. So we're gonna, our most common thing is obviously gonna be attack. We're gonna do say 1 to 13 for that, which means this one starts at 14. And let's go to 16. So these are our most common thing, either our primary or secondary attack. Maneuver, we'll just set it, let's just have that be a single number of 17. Use and defend, we'll set to 18. Our special ability will just be on 19. And finally, our fleeing will be if we roll an at 20. All right, so I think that will do. I mean, that's pretty much just our quick AI. So if we actually, let's do this real quick. Do we have anything that could be consumables? Maybe an action could look like it's a weapon or something, like a sword. So maybe a weapon. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do a sword, maybe. I'm just going to choose one, doesn't matter. And our targeting, I'm going to close that. For targeting, let's do, it'd be nice if there was a target. Let's go into, I think it might be under weapons, I would think. Let's look at this, Target. Target, is there a target in there? Not that it knows of. All right, whatever. Maybe bow would have one at some point. No, doesn't look like it. How about if I don't go to actions, what is, or not actions, tools maybe? Skills, we could have targeting. Hey, look at that. Perfect, we'll just grab one. Actually, let's grab that one. Sure. All right, so now we have two little things. We have our targeting. So this is who we target. This one will be what we're going to do. We'll just take that one off. All right, so we're at 16 minutes. We have a tiny bit of time, but I think we can get through maybe a couple rounds. But well, or maybe I'll just explain a little bit about what is going on in the story. So one thing that's supposed to happen is as your players thin out these goblins, there's a big guy up here named Yemek. And Yemek, he is still a goblin, but he's kind of the boss of these goblins. And he is holding prisoner Sildar Hallwinter. So I think in the original Lost Mine of Found Delver, he was actually a bugbear, because it says that if the tides are turning for the worse, he actually grabs Sildar and holds him over the edge, threatening to drop him. Sildar's at 1 health, basically, in very bad shape. This is probably about a 10, maybe 20-foot drop, we'll say. And that would kill Sildar. So at that point, he wants to negotiate with the players and say, okay, look, we have this real jerk named Clarg, who is in the other room. So we have Clarg over here, and he says, Clarg thinks he's the big boss, and I think it's, time for a coup or whatever. And he tells you guys, if you guys kill Clarg, then he'll just give you Sildar. Now, at this point, you have the choice of actually saying okay, or you could kill Yemek. Sildar might fall to his death. I'm assuming the fact that they had that originally is that if he fell to his death, he was dead, not resurrectable. Sildar also, you might I was going to check this, but I forgot. One thing you want to do to Sildar, he currently has no weapons on him. He's been stripped of his armor and stuff like that. So you might or might not, let's just check. Yes, you would definitely do, is go in here and set his chainmail to not equipped, his weapons to not equipped. He has no weapons, which makes his armor very, very low. It's pretty low already. I mean, our guys are higher than that, even with his armor on. So anyway, he's not going to be your best asset to help fight. Now, he will come help fight in the battle if you kill everyone here. Otherwise, you have to go kill Clarg and everyone else over there. But basically, that's what's supposed to happen. You thin these guys out. He gets fed up. I'm pretty sure he was like a bugbear, because I can't see a small goblin holding a medium-sized human over this ledge and saying, if you don't stop, I'm going to drop him. So maybe he drags him up there and he's going to push him over the ledge or something. I don't know. But Sildar is in no condition to really fight or anything like that. So that's kind of how it's going to play out in the next episode. I wanted to kind of describe that really quick, and show you also. I was going to show you real quick. I was thinking maybe we'd continue our fight, but we only had a couple minutes. We're at 20 minutes right now. But if it's, say, someone's turn, which it looks like it's his, but let's say it's Cruel Goblin's turn, what we can now do is say, okay, he is going to, I guess he would do I think he would do an action first, because this is, am I going to strike? Am I going to do something else? So he would roll here. Here you can see he's going to do his secondary attack. So if he's forced to do a secondary attack, it wouldn't make sense to do it against this guy. He's probably going to target one of these two, which means there will be some cover and stuff like that. And then we can actually see who he's going to target. In this case, it's still going to be front line. I would still consider Tazaraz front line, but not the closest. If you had a conflict where, he's going to attack secondary, which is his bow, but then it came here and said closest, I would use logic and say he's not going to pull out a bow and try and shoot this guy at point blank range, because that's a disadvantage. It's at a way too close of range. And I think even the bow, if we look at it, technically it's a normal shot between 80 and 320 feet. So even before that, it could actually have penalties on the shot. So there you go. Sorry guys that this wasn't one where we actually continued our little adventure, but I thought this one might add a little more spontaneity. We'll start using this little system to choose what people are how they're going to act as far as the enemies go. I think that's all I wanted to really get done. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Join my Discord. Tell other people about my YouTube channel. Have them check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We grow the channel. Everybody wins. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.